What's coming off around here?
If you guys playing railroad anymore today, there's a landslide, a new cut.
Well, I finally got the surface cleaned off. I guess it's human nature that when you have a nice big tabletop surface available, you just sort of clutter it up with all manner of crap. But the reason I cleaned it off is because I'm determined now to begin working on the service yard that I had talked about probably a year ago. So I know it's been a lot of time, but like I pointed out before, I do other things besides this hobby. I've got maybe too many hobbies, and that's maybe one of the things about retirement, that you want to try to catch up on everything you think you missed out on while you had to be working all those years. But this is a hobby I've always liked. I've always really enjoyed model railroading in a vicarious way, reading model railroad magazines and talking to other people about it. But the first step towards getting a service yard laid out here in terms of where the trackage should go and what kind of structures I need. I've done the research on my structures. I believe I have a pretty good grasp of what types of equipment I need for a transition period and for a small operating business. This one, being the Lehigh Valley Terminal Railroad, is just a very small branch service to some of the local businesses that still are served by the rail. So this particular model here is another one of the models that I've obtained years ago when I helped a friend prepare to move from Pennsylvania down to Florida. He had a model railroad set up in one of his spare bedrooms, and to assist him getting ready to sell his house, I helped by removing all of that model railroad, the bench work, all of the things, and he gave me in return some of the locomotives I've shown in the past, as well as this particular kit. And this particular kit came as I was actually in better shape. It was complete. It was assembled and had a roof on it. Now I don't know what happened to the roof over the years, like I did with so many of my other model railroad items. That got packed away, put in boxes, stuck in a garage somewhere, and that was forgotten. I'm sad. But now that I've taken it out, I recall that at one point I had the goal was to create an upgrade for this particular model, and I started taking things apart. And one of the things I did was I removed the roof. And now I've lost it, so that's gone. But the other thing I did was I was thinking, because I still was going to go with this particular base, I was thinking about channeling into the base. I'm not sure if you can see that, but I actually carved into it slots where I could lay rail for embedding the rail on the floor. And I'm still not satisfied with that. In fact, I don't like this base. So the base, it's just too thick and it's warped. And I guess over time that happens. But so it's a nice piece of wood, but it's not flat for one thing. I'll show you. And the other thing is, when I carved it, it just kind of ruined it for as far as being able to be used. And one other thing is it's too thick. I'd want something about half that thickness, because if I put this in this area, then I either have to carve out underneath so I can set it down and make it flush, or I have to bring the terrain up, which neither of them seem real attractive to me. I don't mind bringing up the track a little to be flush with the two-stall engine house, but I'm going to limit the amount I have to fuss with it by just changing this to a thinner, about the half thickness of that. base, and that way I'll be able to get this kind of, I don't know if this kit came with individual pieces. I think it's probably just a scored piece of, I don't know, balsa maybe. Yeah, it could be balsa. Well, yeah, I believe it is a scored balsa that someone took the time to stain it and do all that work. It looked nice. So the next thing I apparently did when I took the roof off and lost it was that piece came off, and so that piece has to get repaired, and a roof structure has to get built. And I was getting at is I cut this out, and I believe, well, I'm fairly certain that what happened here was that I was planning on building an extension to the building for the shop, so that there can be some limited amount of repair work done inside of the building. And so towards that goal, first off, I've mocked up a roof. So, and I should say too, while I'm at it, one of the reasons why the engine house is important to me right now is because I want to use this structure to define where other structures are going to be placed within the service yard. So with this, I made a mock-up of a roof. Now this is not the final on the roof design. Come on, get up on there. There you go. Okay, got it. So that's not the final roof design, but just a whole placeholder. But at any rate, because I say that because I want to put a cupola up here, at least a portion of it, so that when the engines are in there, there's some exhaust for those locomotives or steam engines that are in there. So what I was hoping to do, like I said, was to build an extension on this. So I came up with is this. I hope you can see that correctly. So that it'll have a structure that's built, maybe might have a more of a sloped roof on it, but I was hoping that the shop would be able to be placed in here. And one of the things I have, and I'm not sure where I got this from. See that? It's a white metal or lead casting of a bench, and it looks like the right kind of bench that would be inside of a shop like that. And I think it would go like the way I proposed the shop is that there'll be a freight door here and then a door access here, and so the bench could go in between, so that the craftsman can actually work with these tools. And I'll probably place some machines in here to be able to accommodate that. So that's the idea for this. And I think the reason why I'm starting with this particular structure is because then it's going to determine where the turntable goes. Like right now, you see the dimension. Over there. If I have a turntable, where do I put it? What would make sense if I was going to design a service yard for some small service area, some small railroad? Where would I put the turntable? Would I put it after, so that it comes through? Which, then you could turn and bring them back out. But it's not very prototypical. I mean, from the pictures that I've seen, typically the turntable was placed ahead of, like this is the entrance to the two-stall engine house. So it would need to be somewhere on this terrain in a position where the turntable is literally servicing that the true purpose of a turntable, which is really for steam locomotives only, because when you do a turn on a diesel, I mean, you just back it up. It runs both ways. It's not a problem. With steam, I really need to have a turntable. So somewhere in all of this, I gotta have a turntable. And so do I put it to the side? Like I could put it to the side and then I'd have, service. I don't like things straight to the edges, so this could be on an angle, and maybe this could be servicing access to the building as well as some other side tracks for like caboose, storage, or a RIP track, repair and place track over here perhaps. I don't know, but this has to be then coordinated with, here's like the water tower, and then there's like a boiler house. As the service area gets built up, all of these structures have to be pre-planned. So I'm going to have some decent representation for the structures. And if anyone who happens upon this video, please leave a comment about the turntable, because this one's perplexing me. I gotta be honest with you. I belong to the Keystone Valley Model Railroad organization. There's a beautiful model railroad system that they have in the Keystone Valley Museum, and it's got several service areas, but there's only one that has a transition era type service yard. So I haven't yet decided, do I want to model it after that, because I got to say the guys that did the modeling on this club layout are incredibly talented and knowledgeable. It's just a fantastic thing to see, and so it's incredibly fortunate that they allowed me to become a member, that I could be able to glean ideas from the past work that's been done, as well as have a conversation with people who are so well informed about both railroading and model railroading. These people are experts. So I'm very, very fortunate in that regard. But, well, I know people that may wonder upon this video are also likewise very well informed. And so if you have an idea what the orientation of this particular model of a turntable is, please don't hesitate. Give me a little advice on that. I really would appreciate it. But then I've mentioned in the past that I'm planning on making this into a steel water tower. So there'll be a water tower, and just a little bit more. I didn't want this to be a real long video like some of my past diatribes where I've gone on and on and on talking about electronic things. I know the Arduino thing it's kind of consuming, isn't it? But anyway, here's a model that I got. It's a model from the White Ground Model Works. It's an antique. It's let's get this right so I don't want to sound too foolish, but I think it's a boiler house. It's what I was looking at it for, but for some reason I don't. Oh yeah, here it is. It's kind of been damaged. It says boiler house on it, so even though somewhere, I bought it. I bought it at a place called the Antique Barn in North Carolina. When I was living in North Carolina at the time, and while I was there was, I don't know how many years ago it was. It must have been the early 80s, late 80s, somewhere in there. There was an enormous flood. They had a massive flood in central North Carolina. And this place called the Antique Barn, their inventory was damaged. This one was damaged. It had become wet from the flood. And so all of the stuff was presumed damaged, but actually it's in beautiful shape. So the boiler house kit will get built. That's a nice kit. And I'm actually kind of looking forward to building that. But I wanted to show it so you know that I have the boiler house. And, you need the boiler house because the steam it produces is used like for the sand drying the sand for those steam locomotives and diesels. And also it's used to operate mechanical equipment. Like they use the steam engines, stationary steam engines to do milling and for operating the lathe and so on, and also it provides heat for the various buildings, and I guess there's electricity as well. I think they generate the electricity using the steam engine that's driven with the steam from the boiler house. So the boiler house is really a must-have for a service area. And I also have this kit. This one it's also a boiler house. This one could serve, even though it says boiler house, could serve as the electrical generation for the service yard. But this one is another one. It's a boiler house. It says pump and boiler house, which is kind of a curious combination. But of course, the boiler would be running the pump. And the pump, of course, is what puts the water up in the water tower. So you have to have a water tower, but the water doesn't fall up, it goes down. So here's a pump station. And it's a kit from Builders and Scale, and I believe, well, yeah, I'm sure of it. This is another kit that I acquired from the flood site. And it still has a price tag on it. It was $30. So it's kind of worked up. The original price, oh, I see, the marked down price was $18.98. They had to get rid of these kits because, like I say, the inventory was probably written off on their insurance. Then I also have this old Campbell kit that I also acquired from the Antique Barn. This is an HO engine house. It's a single stall engine house, and it's really nice. But the thing that's cool about it is that it has structural items, but it also has details, interior details that might be useful for this guy. That, or else I'll hang on to that one and build this instead of that. I'm not sure, because the two-stall. Here's another thing that maybe somebody can help me with. Does a two-stall engine house make sense for a small local service type branch line, or would this single stall engine house make more sense? I don't know, and so I look forward to hearing, if you could please take a moment and give me a little advice on that. So those are the kits that I have right now, and I need to get the sand house. I think I honestly think I have one, but it's in my stash. And the sand is where the sand is stored, and then they have the treatment for it, and also some of the servicing equipment, the smaller things like the fuel oil tank, how the locomotive gets refueled, and maybe a wash station to clean up the locomotives. And when they get in their turn after serving the local businesses, then they come back. I can get them cleaned up. But so this is the process. Now this is going to be the first kit I'm going to build, whether it's actually here or not on this particular service yard. It remains to be seen, but it was my original idea, and I'd like to hear from people about, am I crazy? Do I make any sense of this stuff? But so this is going to be a short video. I know some of you may say, well, thankfully, and I'll get this out just as quickly as I can, so that hopefully I can get some feedback before I start going too far with laying out where the track has to be to accommodate the structures. Thanks for viewing this video, and I'll thank you in advance for any comments that you can make for me. I would, like I say, I really do appreciate hearing from people who are much more knowledgeable about model railroading and railroading in general. It's always been something I've enjoyed, but yet it's strange how much I've lost in terms of all the years I spent letting everything just set in a garage somewhere. And it's to me, I guess I always put my job first. I've always been a workaholic when it comes to employment, and I kind of regret it a little bit, but now I have time, I'm retired, so I'll get on it and try to get some of these things done. But thanks again. if possible, I hate to do this, but I hear it, but I would like to see likes, just because it's fun to see a little bit of feedback from people who I have no idea who you are. You just kind of wandered around, happened upon my channel, and you know, it may or may not be entertaining, but if it was entertaining at all to you, please put a little like there. I would appreciate it. Thanks a lot.